Hey everybody, it's Dean back with another episode of Factorio Megabase. Oops, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for my Twitch screen. I'm gonna tried a couple videos and had some problems. Tried disabling biters. Turns out I somehow made myself the game or whatever you want to call it, the instant crafting. So I was able to craft anything I wanted anywhere I wanted. So it's not really what I want. That's not really truly playing the game. Unfortunately, my game is just like, I don't know what I've done, but my UPS just keeps dropping. But I've not done anything. Like, I don't think, grabbing this train yesterday and destroying the biters in this area should have dropped my UPS. But apparently it has. I thought I should go all solar, but every time I try to cut out nuclear permanently, the base can't support itself. Like, for some reason my accumulators aren't keeping up. So even though it's showing 0 right now, because the solar panels at least can generate enough, but as night sets in, it can't. I don't know. Everything I've tried to kind of mitigate UPS use. So it's kind of frustrating. I'm kind of in the, I guess, the heyday or sunset of this base. I have to start over, I guess. So we were going to go set up some more mining. Kind of tried to go there a couple times. But the first time I actually forgot to bring bots. The second time when I went out there I realized I had infant crafting, so that's not good either. And tried to get the game to run with, biters enabled, but increase my run speed because, the slower the UPS is, the slower you run. And there's actually a cheat you can do to just increase your run speed, but apparently I messed that up with the infant crafting. Oh, it also had infinite mining. Wasn't quite what I was hoping for. If anybody knows the solution to that, I'd like to hear it. I don't know, but turning off biters didn't seem to really save me a whole ton. I was running at 19 instead of, well, now 15, 16 UPS. I think maybe the part was I enabled cheats and then I saved it. So maybe doing the creative mode without cheats might work. And then just changing run settings. It's actually fairly depressing. I think this is, I don't think my game is particularly large. I mean, I would think maybe, I mean, because you can really scroll way out. Like if you really had a base this big, you know, I think that game should be playable. But Factorio only uses single core, which is really backwards in my opinion. Like computers nowadays, 4-core, 8-core, multi-threaded. I think the longevity of this game really kind of depends on being able to do that. I'm aware that, like, you know, a lot of people really love the early part of the game and never really even launch a rocket. They never really get to experience what I think is kind of a, I mean, I think this is a different kind of game than the early game. Like, nobody experiences what I've got here, or few do. You know, I know a lot of people struggle just to run a couple trains, let alone the 450 or so I've got running around. So the early kind of Factorio game, you know, when you're just trying to do science and you're trying to get enough red chips and, you know, to do a little, you know, to make your modular armor, you know, and trying to get, you know, power for that. It's a totally different game than the game I'm playing. The game I'm playing is kind of about just sort of keeping your factory happy, supplies, continuing to churn out science. I mean, you look at my science, it's like 2 million science to get the next robot speed. Like, that is so beyond most people. 2 million science. To get one upgrade. Where's that train going? We're 90. Where's our 90? Where are you going, dude? We're on low northeast. You know, he's coming here and down. Alright, well, you're gonna wait a while. Because I'm busy. Suppose I can come in right here. That might make sense. Can't let it go by. Oops. I need to get off the curve. Huge patches, 11 million, 8 million. Trains are going to be happy crunching that for a while. So trains would exit here. They could come up and over. So oops, backwards. Suppose we can put that up a little closer. It's actually going to be between the... but this one will exit there. Shouldn't need to exit to the north, I don't think. At least not for a while. I suppose we could make it so it can, if we ever move our base, or our mining or refining. If I can get the words out of my head. I don't think a stacker is really that a great idea, but why not? And the most you have is 3 trains. If I only give it an entrance like this, I think the router will pretty much make it come this way all the time. What I think it's kind of can do to improve. Let's create a little room. Let's create some buffer chests. And this can hold 2,400 iron, or so. I don't need to chop all that. Wonder how much this artillery bots will interfere. brought enough supplies. These are pretty huge patches. Yeah, I'm already out of provider chests. Craft some. Short 17. I haven't even added any botters or logistics taken from the outpost. Let's add wagon to my train, get rid of this wood before bots take it from me. Storage chest. I think I'm going to need more. More roboports. So by having the requester chest, but I gotta change these to accept requests from buffer chests. Or yeah, have buffer chests. Make the requester chest able to get from them. Make loading a little fast. Man, like already 1,000K in each of those. Alright, so that train. Is it this one? Yep. So you don't really need it. Is right here. I think eventually he does, of course. Guess I'll, oops. So we're gonna give this station a name yet. Really hoping with version 17 of the game, which the developers just said today in the Friday Facts that they are no longer doing version 16. 1651 is the last version of it, apparently. And so we should be getting some kind of release of version 17 soon. And when we do, I'm just really hoping that it's more UPS friendly, I suppose. I mean, there's a graphics increase, which could slow the game down. Who knows? Or maybe with 17 I start over. Really don't want to do that, but there's probably some stuff to deconstruct here. These are belt bases here. Just knock out power. I really need to stop for a couple pieces of iron mining drills. Few episodes actually over several episodes we worked on the plastic. It seems to be catching back up. I mean, it was at when we first started dismantling it, because it only had one loading bay and I wanted to add a second. It had like 400,000. Now it's back up to 126, so it is catching up. For a while it made me wonder, because it couldn't seem to get ahead. I'd wondered if I'd broken something, but I guess it just was having a hard time because, red had dropped, circuits had dropped behind, and so it was just spamming plastic over and over and over again. In fact, I'd moved one of those trains down to coming down here, but to our original plastic bill, it didn't seem to have harmed anything. So I noticed the last time I played that after I played that I had kind of screwed things up. Like, this still shows iron plate, and this doesn't have the controls to show it what station it is. So we do need to head down there and fix that. I thought I kind of fixed it off camera, but I messed with some other things, so I might have loaded a save that Didn't have that fixed. Well, obviously, apparently I did. Yeah, because we are already up to 18,000 satellites. I don't know. Well, apparently I might have messed more things up. Okay, well, it is what it is. I'm not going back again. Try to figure it out. I'll just continue on. We'll grab a couple handfuls of bots. I don't know why this keeps giving me 2001 bot. Like, what's the problem with this request thing? Just keep giving me 2001. So, Copper Station South. Hey, welcome. Those following Nexus Null, thanks for the auto host, sir. We're on our way down to the southeast, or really kind of south copper facility. Do you want to copy some from our northern one? It's here. Yeah. Fix that. When we get down here. I do route trains, and when they're on the way in, I want to make sure that they don't get disabled. So I watch the lights. I like that one's showing yellow and now red because the train's past the signal. I don't want the station to get disabled while it's on the way in. But one of the things I kind of learned, so the way I've been doing it, is it's looks for green equals 0 or green not equal 1, whichever way you want to look at it. But if you change it to just yellow equals 1, then it only does it if it's yellow. If it's red, it doesn't seem to. Well, the reason I used to do green is so it wouldn't disable while the train was pulling in. But I was also doing it off average. This is only going to get enabled when the plate is greater than M, greater than equal to M. And the M is the minimum amount it takes to load a train. Well, technically it's 16K, but I have it set to 17. So once it's above it, it's not going to ever turn off until the train actually picks up that supply. So having this as yellow means that the station won't enable unless the outpost still, of course, has more than. But as say a train pulls out of, say, this one, it would stay red. I don't know if that helps, but it's kind of neat. Anyways, I think I can just paste that. Too hard. Can't do it with a blueprint if I wanted to, though. I don't know why you can do it with a blueprint, but you can't do it. Copy paste. So like this train pulling out, now it's showing red. just a minor difference. And apparently when I was setting up this one, I removed these controls. Oops, the arm's in the way. Set that to station 1. This actually is not doing anything other than it gives me the information of station 1. If it were actually giving it to me, I have to put that out under a poll. Right. No big deal. Oh, and I need to set those 2 chests. I looked at the blue, and I looked at all these other ones. Apparently, I don't know, all these got fixed, but for some reason those 2 chests showed iron plate. Didn't make any sense to me. But now they're good. So let's look at future things that are going to expire. Look at this 39. It shows 29 hours before it expires. Well, it's at 106,000, so that makes sense. It's really over 1 million. And look at this. 100K in this little bit. These chests are going to just keep going. I will fix that to, let's go to belts. Upgrade planner. Change all those belts to blue belts. Just by dragging like that. Probably didn't need to do those, but oh well. The rest of these look pretty good. I'm not going to mess with them. Just wondering what I'm going to do now. Suppose I could push science some more. Woo, that's a great idea. Great idea. Break something else. Actually, it's going to be yellow science. That's the thing I break. This is just barely keeping up with current demand. Oh, I know what I can do. Let's do some empties. Been a while since I've gone over the empties, cleaned them up. And while we're traveling, look around, see how things are doing. Rocket control units keeping up. I know it's fairly busy down at Space Science. 400,000 science on hand though. So these will, I don't know how much these chests, like, hold quite a bit. I mean, if I'm doing my math right, each chest can hold 48,000. So 48 times 3, 144,000 times 4. So we can have 576,000 in these chests, and we're only showing 248,000. So you're gonna at least double. Be a while before that cuts off, or we go down there and put some sort of cap on those chests. Where am I? Oh, I guess this was one rocket build. This was gonna be this was my first rocket fuel outpost, but turns out it just couldn't keep up, so we actually had to make some. So that's how you can get rid of those fuzzies, is with track. Knew it could be done. There's all these empty chests. Instead of reversing all that, just do it that way. Interesting, you have no power. Surprise, didn't give any way for my train to get out of here. Gonna go through a few rocket fuels. Looking at this. Let's do. Actually, no, that works. Fortunately, I'll take all that one side first. Let's get a. Single lane balancer. So even though if only one side pulls, it pulls evenly from the top side. So you can see only the right side here is flowing, but it's flowing evenly on the top. That's what this is, except for it's a 4-lane balancer. So all the lanes across the top pull evenly, even though sorry, I had to mute them. Mute, there was a car, music playing really loud. Anyways, this is a 4-lane balancer with the same concept, like the top sides all flow evenly, both sides of the belt, even though there's only a single lane that exits. This will take kind of not terrible long to empty, and they're only 10 stacks. I can make it a little faster, I think, by changing these to stack inserters. Well, we'll change the flow of the belt. And I think likewise, one side of the belt's full. You know, it fills up both sides. Obviously, it can't make a full belt out of a half a belt. this design, this loading design is called a slimline design. It's not mine. I've modified it. I've attempted to pretty it up. But basically it has belts flowing underneath the chest and stuff. So it's basically you can have, you know, another loading station literally right next to this. You know, one whole length wide. You can just keep stacking these loaders up right next to each other. It's pretty cool. But it's a little slower, of course, because there's only 4 chests it's loading from. Than 6, which is, you know, of course, the maximum. Well, unless you load from both sides. And then there's a slimline unload. I'm not sure I have it in my blueprints I use. That's loading. Load. Unloading. I don't think I do the unloading one anymore. But there is an unloading version. Wonder if I have it. Slimline load, unload. Yeah, it's kind of funky with this yellow belt, so you don't have it, but you can do this. So it fits in that same width. It's not a balanced unload, which is rather unfortunate, but I suppose I don't need that blueprint. But when I'm doing belts, this is probably my #1 loading. It's pretty easy. Actually, there's 2 I like. That one, if the, you know, I don't need to load a lot. Otherwise, my favorite one is something I came up with, sort of off somebody else's design. It's this one. Brings in up to 8 lanes on one side, but it feeds both sides. It's pretty cool. And kind of balances on the back side. It's not that efficient. It's better to have like a 4-lane or 8-lane balancer on the input side, but than it is to try to use that backside. But the backside does help because it does technically could spread from the top all the way to the bottom. But it's, you know, it would take a while to migrate all the way down there if the chests on the back weren't all full. So this is rather sleepy right here. I don't know what, I don't have any plans. I've kind of shored up where we were hurting. Last week or so since maybe even 2 weeks since we upgraded our science output, been really rushing around fixing steel, low density structures, rocket control units, iron. We doubled our iron smelting. We improved our copper by, it was this design. I don't know that's the way actually the way iron was here, was an inline 5. I found that inline 5, the trains couldn't quite get, they could get to the bottom, but it was really difficult. The trains would, because by the time, this train would figure out, okay, well, this one was free, unless I did a lot of disabling, which I finally had to do to get that train to actually see this one. Another one up here would finish unloading and a train would never get down here. It was difficult. I think 2x3 is really the most efficient. You can have the most bays. 2x4, which is this guy, I find getting a train all the way down here to the end is a lot harder. I mean, they can get there, but it's not as easy as a 2x3. So that's the route I'm going nowadays. And I'm just hanging out here because as soon as this finishes emptying, I need to turn this back on down here. So this is okay over here. It's got a fair amount of buffer chests. Come on. Come on. Almost done. It's weird, it's only picking up 10 at a time. Is it having its stack size overridden? I guess, well, up to the max stack size of 10, I guess, is what it can pick up to. Could just pick up my tree, but it's got a nice schedule that I like. Let's put this track down. Without putting signals down, everything will be blocked because my train's in that section. So we ought to be able to just sort of pull out. Without being hit. At least that's one empty cleared out. kind of the base runs itself as long as there's no traffic jams where trains kind of try to cross each other. Did update the signals in the southern copper post so we can see what's active, who has supplies. So on a 2x3 post, this guy has no problem really getting to the last. But as you can see, this one's pulling out just as that one's going in. It's so hard to do another set of bays. In fact, that one didn't even go in this one. One in there, I didn't notice it was empty. So this one's it is trying to get to that one until it turns off. That's why I turn them off. So once I turn them off, now he knows he can go. Kind of what I was saying about that one going in there. This one pulling out. It's hard to keep all 6 bays or more than 6 full. 6, it's okay. I can do it. Well, an 8 can happen if some of the stations sort of get backed up. But if these chests are all empty, no, can't happen. Well, I guess I'm just going to go around and do some more empties while we watch stations like this one. Train will drive. Kind of wish you could get like a first-person view. This one's okay. Kind of forgot to see tonight if my friends. We've been teaming up on making a base. Forgot to see if he was working on that tonight. It's kind of late now. He usually calls it by now. Well, now look, we're over 18,000 satellites. I knew it would happen. Kind of miss the days when this was so much smaller base. This was like border here. This is actually a creeping laser wall that just kept slowly moving up this way. Spiders would just keep pounding on me. Had to keep inching forward, taking them, but there wasn't really that great of ore in this area, so I was just like, it wasn't worth really pushing it. Lights. through without being hit. Full. Whoa, 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 train's coming up. This was a big copper coal patch for a while. All gone. Actually, this was all a bunch of patches in here. Mostly copper. As it were back in the day. This guy's getting mined out. This was a big copper. Oops, I'm seeing some glint. Uranium? No, just one little speck. This is like copper. That was actually over this track had it moved. Iron. Weird. All gone now. See, enough inventory space. So I want to go with a train behind me. I should, well, no empties left anyways. I'll head back to base. Well, there's a big stone patch. Coal's disappearing. It's actually good to see that coal trains are showing up for it. $14 UPS. What's going on? Seriously. I really don't get why the game just sort of dips. Well, easier just to drop into chess. Crazy as it seems, I'm kind of tempted to start over. Because I want higher play speed. And I'm a little bit bored tonight. Because there really isn't much to do, like, other than maybe boost science again. To break stuff. But then that will increase demand everywhere, which will increase game, entities working, which could just drop my game out from underneath it. Used to be so busy in here. It's like a ghost town. It's crazy, but it's neat because now, you know, I mean, the whole reason of moving those two copper and plate out to the outskirts was because it really was busy. You know, the trains were bringing all the ore in and then shipping the plate out. Now, those ore trains really just come in and head back out, and the plate flows inwards. Iron ore is a little further out. Same here, like the outskirts are the plate. Down here as well. This one is the only one kind of still somewhat in the middle of the base. Well, I would say that's semi in the middle of the base. But it's probably the next to move if I, you know, need to move it. Because all of its iron ore is literally coming from down here now. Or out here. So, you know, maybe like this area would be a next good spot for that. Well, knowing what I know now, I probably wouldn't have gone to a big 2x4. Kind of a lot of work to set it up, and pretty much right after I set it up, I needed to open up more outposts, so a smaller build is easier to move. A 2x2, kind of like this 2x2. 2x3, it's actually fairly reasonable. I think it's like this one up here. These guys in the south, they're just all maxed out. This one especially is maxed out. You know, these aren't working. But if the need was arose, then, you know, it has the ore needed, or plate needed. Let's see here. What am I doing? This substation, Roboport, and radar. Change that to blacklist. Somewhere in here. Yep. So we can put down the new one. Oh, not in the train. So I think I'm gonna call it a little early tonight. I'm gonna switch to Assassin's Creed Origins. Assassin's Creed, what did they say that? Well, anyways, there's a new version coming out in October. I'd kind of like to finish the current one I'm playing. Before that comes out. I saw a video for the new Assassin's Creed. It looked pretty neat. It's based in Greece. It's the war between the Greeks and Sparta. I don't quite know the backstory yet. It's which side you're trying to support. I imagine you're trying to support Greeks since Greece, since they're the ones who won in history. And Sparta could be the bad guys. I don't know. Or maybe it's supposed to be more RPG style too. Maybe you get to kind of choose. And so you could have multiple endings. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm Dune, and we'll see you later.